Hi, this is Bill. I'm the Salty Old Marine. In this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about myself and a little bit about my history. I hope you find it entertaining. I go back a ways. I originally enlisted in the Marine Corps in 1979, and I served until 1985. I was honorably discharged as a sergeant, an E5. I spent most of my time in the Marine Corps as a military policeman. During that time, I was exposed to a variety of things, and some of those things I have claimed as disabilities with the VA. So I am currently service-connected for tinnitus and for PTSD. And I'm working on other claims. Now, that in itself is not unusual. That happens to a lot of veterans. What might be considered unusual is that I am 63 years old. I'll be 64 in July. I've been out for a really long time, and apparently it's difficult to do service connection of claims for PTSD and tinnitus and various other things after so much time has passed, and I understand that. I also didn't know much about the VA until 2023. I was stationed briefly at Camp Lejeune in North Carolina, and I was exposed to the contaminated water there that got into the groundwater and hence into the drinking water. So I drank the water and I showered in the water, and as they later found out, it had some dangerous chemicals in it. That put me into a group of people who were commonly referred to these days as covered by the PACT Act. And the PACT Act was something that was passed by Congress fairly recently to cover veterans like myself, and also veterans such as Vietnam veterans who were exposed to Agent Orange, and veterans of Afghanistan and Iraq who were exposed to burn pits and that sort of thing. So there's a list of conditions that Congress has approved that if a veteran was diagnosed with any of those conditions and they were covered under the PACT Act, then those conditions would be considered presumptive, and they don't have to go to great lengths to prove that they're service-connected and to receive either health care treatment or disability for those things. So let that set the stage. So in 2023, I got a letter, actually a series of letters from the VA asking me to attend a meeting with veterans and the VA for PACT Act exposure. It was a VA exposure check. And so I went to one of them. And this was the first time I had been exposed to the VA in a very, very long time. And they went through and asked me questions about my exposure, and they wanted to register me for in the VA healthcare system, and as it turned out, I already was registered in the healthcare system. And then they asked me to write down a list of things that were physically wrong with me, and I did without thinking too much about it. And as it turned out, they were filing a claim on my behalf. I didn't know that. A year goes by, and I get a letter telling me that my claims have all been denied. Which was interesting because I didn't know I had made any. But from that, I started to learn more about the VA disability system. And I watched a lot of YouTube videos, and I read a lot online, and I discovered that all of the information needed to file a VA disability claim is actually online, and a lot of it is on the VA's website. So there's a thing called the 38 CFR, and that's the Code of Federal Regulations. That covers everything that the VA rates for disability. There's another thing called the M21, which is the manual that is used by VA raters. So if a veteran is claiming a certain disability, a rater has a list of instructions that they're supposed to follow and go through to determine where that veteran falls into the disability system. And I found this all very interesting. So as I learned more about it, I learned how to file disability claims, and I was successful in filing that tinnitus claim and that PTSD claim. I did those by myself. I did them without the assistance of a veteran service organization, a VSO, or an attorney, or hiring someone to write me a Nexus letter, or any of those things. I just did them on my own. And they were, excuse me, they were successful, so that's a good thing, right? But along the way, I learned a lot, and that is the primary reason that I started this YouTube channel. So I have a job. I work in IT. I work every day. I work Monday through Friday, like most do. I work, the usual 8 to 5 hours, and I have nights and weekends to myself. Twice a week, I volunteer my time teaching martial arts to children and young adults to help them learn to defend themselves. And so I've been doing that for like 18 years, and I hope to continue doing it, although at my age it's becoming more and more difficult. But I'm doing the best I can. Other than that, my time is my own. So since I started this YouTube channel, what I've been doing is I spend most of the day on Saturday, every Saturday, making these YouTube videos. And I sit down in my basement, and I've got a camera, and I've got some lights, and I've got a microphone, and I've got a nice chair to sit in, and I just sit here and I make these videos. And then I go upstairs to my computer, and I plug them all in, and I open up my video editor, which I'm learning to use, and I cut them all up, and I make videos out of them, and I upload them to YouTube, and I schedule them to go every other day or so for the next week, so that there's some fresh material constantly being dropped. And that's kind of what I do. So I don't seem to be at a loss for things to talk about in terms of VA disability and VA healthcare. The more I learn, the more I want to share. I'm disappointed and a little bit angry that so much information is hidden from veterans. There's so many things that we should all know, and the information is out there, but there's no outreach. The VA, for everything good it does, and it does a lot of good, it's not reaching out to veterans and saying, here's how to file a disability claim. Here's what needs to go into a successful disability claim. It provides all the information, but you have to go and find it. And I'm afraid a lot of veterans, especially veterans in my age group, are just not doing that. We don't know. We don't even know what we don't know. We don't even know where to begin looking. So that's why I'm doing these YouTube videos. I hope that I can share this information with as many veterans as possible. If you've been through some of the things I've been through, and I'm sure you have, and I'm sure you've been through worse things than I've been through, and you're suffering from those things today, chances are you're deserving of VA disability. And if you're deserving of it, you should have it. That's my take on it. I'm Bill. I'm the salty old Marine. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it useful. Please like, share, subscribe, tell a friend. And as always, have a great day.